Sports.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
And New York Sports.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And the unique history and relationship between the two cities. With Mike Carr.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
And Adam Turkel.
I agree. Nobody's madder about than I am. They're going to say that, and I'm going to look at them and say, "Hi, you're right."
This is the Battle for I-95 podcast, starting now.
All right, welcome to the Battle for I-95 podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving is terrible. It blows. Do it the easy way. Servicing Fairfield, Connecticut. Removal in New York. I am Turk. That is Mike. And we are here for episode 31 of the Battle for I-95. And Mike, I want to apologize in advance if I sound a little off, if I cough once in a while. Your Turk old man is a little under the weather here. So, but we're going to. Yeah, we're going to. I was sick 2 weeks ago, and now, it feels like the same shit, but it's not as bad. But, we're going to push through and do what we got to do here. And we got a myriad of things to talk about today. Mike, how are you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm feeling pretty green, man.
You're feeling pretty green.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the worst week in sports. The worst week in sports.
It's one of the worst years in sports right now, in my opinion.
It is the Super Bowl bye week.
Yeah.
When your team is in the Super Bowl.
Well, I almost think it doesn't matter if your team is in the Super Bowl or not. This Sunday, which today we're recording on Sunday, is the first of many Sundays. It's almost like they're preparing you for it with no more football. You get the week in between before the Super Bowl, and you get your first taste of what shitty Sunday TV is going to be like, basically for the next 8 months. So it's kind of a wake-up call for everybody. And before we get
a flag game on tonight, right?
What's that?
They have the flag game on, the Eli versus Art.
Ooh. They actually get 50,000 schmucks to pay for that. I don't believe it. I mean, people are so stupid. All right, let's rant about fucking society. Bunch of morons, right?
Okay.
So the Pro Bowl itself became a joke. They had to do something. Granted, they had to try to figure something out because it's not your 80s Pro Bowl where people actually hit each other and actually tackled each other. It became an absolute joke because you want to make guys super millionaires, and now you're afraid to hurt your investment by letting them hit each other in an exhibition game. So what does the NFL do? I got an idea. Let's act like it's high school and give them pro games and make them play flag football and sell tickets because the stupid people will buy it. And guess what? The stupid people buy it. The stupid fucking people buy it. And Mike, I gave it a chance last year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I said, are you fucking kidding me? Really? This 50,000 people in a stadium to watch this bullshit? This absolute disgrace to NFL football?
I like the skills comp.
Fuck your skills comp.
Comp's cool.
Yeah, the skills comp is awesome, but it's not supposed to be in the main event. Right now, it's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
And that's sad when the game itself becomes a flag football joke. But we'll get to football after, Mike. We got a few subjects to touch on. First, we're going to touch on the lead story, which is a blockbuster NBA trade that happened last night. So
late last night.
Yeah, so last night, I'm a little pissed off because the Knicks and Lakers are playing on national TV, right? And the Knicks have been really good lately. They've won 5 in a row. But LeBron always gets to stick up his ass when he comes into New York and always plays well, right? So LeBron comes in and looks fucking 30 and is going nuts. Brunson and Towns both have off shooting nights. Neither one could hit the side of a barn last night. And Bridges is putting up dumb shots. And then to top it off, OG Anunoby gets hurt. So this is a real fucking good night for me to watch the Knicks. So I'm agitated. The Knicks lose the game. Lakers win. Big scheme of things, not a big deal. You lost the game to a Western Conference team. Not the end of the world. The Knicks aren't as bad as they were last night. The Lakers definitely aren't as good as they were last night. But maybe are they now? So last night, late at night, I wake up this morning. I look at my social media feed, and Anthony Davis, who didn't play last night due to injury, supposedly, is traded for Luca Doncic to Dallas. Now, let's start with Dallas. This is a team that at one point had Jalen Brunson, Kristaps Porzingis, and Luka Doncic, and couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
And Kristaps is in Boston. We know what JB's doing in New York. And now Doncic goes to the fucking Lakers. Mike, what do you think of this trade? It's wild. It's got to be the biggest trade in the last 10 years.
It's biggest in-season trade. It's got to just be LeBron's last hey, look, we got to make a push here. I'm going to need somebody else. And
wait a second, Mike. Anthony Davis was just complaining last week that they need another big. That their problem, a little bit like the Knicks waiting for Robinson to come back, is front court size, and they ship off the only big guy they got.
Yeah. That's the funny move, is that he bitched and he got sent.
Yeah. Now,
because LeBron don't play games like that.
Now, word around Dallas, and obviously I'm not that tight. I'm not tied in Dallas. I'm just going by everything you know me, Mike. I like to sniff around, you know. And
speaking of sniffing, excuse me.
right, yeah.
We're all going through
that's terrible, Mike. That's disgusting. I just want to do Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say to that, Mike. I'm gonna have to give you one of these for that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's real over here.
Yeah, but the word, if you really dig and you look hard and you look at comments and things like that, it is, in my opinion, that the Dallas Mavericks didn't like that Luca's a fat bastard and that he doesn't take care of his body well enough. And he's coming up on a supermax contract where he'd be making like $350 million. And they were getting cold feet about giving the little chunky white boy that. I mean, all right. So I think we know what Luca is, right? And what he isn't. What he isn't is he isn't a big. No. Okay. What he isn't is he isn't a good defensive player, right? What he isn't is he isn't a guy who, in my opinion, is going to age well physically. Okay? What he is, he's a cold-blooded, dead killer of a shooter, right? He's a cold-blooded, dead killer of a playmaker, and his offensive game is top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he is. But if you look at Luca in 5 years from now, and he loses his shot a little bit, even just a little bit, is the value still there for a guy who doesn't play defense and likes cheeseburgers a lot?
No. No, it's not there. And it's this has to be more like his wake-up call, if anything. Because now, I mean, you're not the best player on the team anymore. You're not the guy.
He is their future, though. He's the heir apparent to LeBron because he's young enough. Now, I guess from the Lakers' perspective, right? AD is 31 and injured all the fucking time, right? And even though he's won a championship with LeBron, it was a bubble one, which everyone scoffs at.
Yes.
So you trade off AD, who's often injured, for another guy who's injured a lot, right? But is a lot younger. Doncic is a few years younger. And I guess from the Lakers' perspective, you're hoping LeBron's work ethic, which is second to none. As much as I don't like the guy.
I hate the fucking guy.
As much as I don't like the guy, he's one of the best players ever to play the game. He's definitely the best 40-year-old I've ever seen. And the guy keeps himself in immense shape.
Yes.
He is a gym rat from top to bottom. I guess the Lakers are hoping that rubs off on Luca. And LeBron looks him in the face and says, hey, look, you chunky white motherfucker. Get in the gym with me. Run around some. Put down the cheeseburger. Pick up an apple, and let's get to work because you're great and you could be the next me. I think for the Lakers, this is a brilliant trade because the upside way outweighs what you were going to get from Davis, even if you don't win this year, which you're not going to, and you don't have enough bigs to really compete in the conference finals with guys like Jokic, even guys like Sabonis. All right, but you may have the heir apparent if his work ethic rubs off on him, covering those two guys is going to be a bitch. I mean, how do you guard the two of them if Luca gets in prime shape? And you can always pick up another big to rim protect down the road. Maybe the Lakers make a trade with the Knicks for off an injured Mitchell Robinson and try to, turn him into that or something. Because I know the Knicks are talking about trading Robinson because of his injury issues, and they feel they can go for it this year, but they just can't get that motherfucker on the floor. So what do you think of Doncic's upside with the Lakers, Mike?
I think the trade more goes for the Mavericks.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're in a spot now where in the future they can start building a team. They can really start from the ground up again.
How are they doing that with a bunch of old guys under contract? Davis is under contract, so is Kyrie.
Because you're getting the draft picks from.
You got one.
You got one, right? And then what about the trade to New York?
If that trade happens. Now, the question is the Knicks need a big themselves, so I don't know if the Lakers match up with them as a trade partner, because the whole reason the Knicks would be getting rid of Robinson would be to add another big, one that's consistent that could play either with or behind Karl Anthony Towns. Because right now, after Karl Anthony Towns, your next big is Precious Achiuwa or Jericho Sims. Achiuwa is too small, and quite frankly, Sims stinks.
So despite them still being right now, they're the 8th seed. As of right now, if the playoffs were to start today, I hate that saying,
they'd be in the play. They'd be in the play-in.
The play-in,
right?
They might see something where they're like, it's time to take a step back and start thinking about the future, and let's start our rebuild now.
Well, I don't see
him. I don't see Cuban as Jerry Jones.
I don't either. But
beating a dead horse.
But
when was the last time they made the finals?
But history is history right now. History is you had Brunson. You didn't give him what would have been a minuscule contract compared to what he's making now.
Right.
You had Porzingis. You couldn't make it work with him and Doncic, who were dying to play together. Somehow you couldn't make that work. A stretch big and a guy who needs ball control. I'm still to this day shocked that didn't work. And now you let go of, your Nowitzki replacement, who has been one of the best players in the association. And he's relatively young. Right. I don't know about this, Mike. From a Dallas standpoint, I think the Lakers scored on this. I think they got themselves another franchise player because I think the LeBron effect on him is going to be real. And if it is,
I do think that too. I do think that it's got to go in that favor where Luca has to learn from LeBron.
It's a wake-up call. It has to be.
That's what I said. It's Luca's wake-up call. Like, you're either going to do it or you're not. You're either going to be the best in the world or you're not. Now you're with one of the most prestigious teams in the league, and now you're really chasing for a title now.
Right. Because LeBron wants to get one more before he goes out.
One more before he goes, and I think this might be it this year. Not as far as him winning it.
They can't. They unless somehow they figure out how to get a legitimate big in there. They're not winning shit. They have nobody to guard guys like Jokic right now. All right, so they beat the Knicks last night. Everyone's going to say, "Well, the Knicks have Towns and they beat the Knicks." Knicks played poorly last night. That game happened 7 times. The Knicks win 5 of those 7 times. Right? It happens. You know how the NBA is. Some nights you can't throw the fucking ball into the ocean. It happens.
Knicks
happens to the best
players a couple weeks ago.
Right. I've seen it happen to Michael Jordan, where he just couldn't throw the ball into an ocean. You know what I mean? It happens. Right. So, I don't know, but it's definitely an intriguing trade, Mike. It's definitely changes the landscape of the Western Conference for shit sure.
Oh, yeah. Your cream's rising to the top now.
Yeah, we're going to see. I mean, it's a big gamble for both teams. It really is. I mean, you think about it from both perspectives. From an LA perspective, you're breaking up a combo that won a championship and one of the best bigs in the game, sending him to a conference rival. And on the other side, you're sending your franchise player who replaced your best player ever in your franchise's history to one of your conference rivals. So it is a wild trade to think that it really happened. Just considering the circumstances of everything surrounding it, it's crazy. It'd be like the Knicks making a big trade with Miami. I mean,
And I mean, something had to maybe like you said, you can't trade a hurt guy. You can't trade a guy who's hurt.
right.
So the fact that Anthony Davis was hurt,
They were trading him.
They were trading him. Something might be going on in that locker room. Maybe he wanted out. Maybe he's like, I'm tired of this shit.
We'll find out, but
And it's weird because they're winning.
well, yeah, they're up to the 5 seed now. The Lakers
Yeah, they're
have
winning.
they played well late. They played well for about a month now.
Right. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're sitting as the 5 seed right now. They're 1 game behind the Nuggets.
Right.
And I mean,
they just went to New York and beat a team that people consider one of the top 4 teams to go for a title this year.
Right. They're 10 games out of first, but
that don't matter. We've learned that in the NBA.
Yeah, the Thunder are just absolutely crushing shit.
The Thunder we'll talk about the Thunder briefly. That is probably right now, in my opinion, the best team in the NBA. The most complete team. Starters, bench, size, scorers, speed, youth. They seem to have they got something good. That team's going to be good for a long time, Mike. That team is good.
Yeah, shout out to Frankie for calling that one.
Yeah, that team is. Frankie saw that coming. Rest in peace. And for him, it was more about his boy, Chad.
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Gonzaga.
Calling him a whack job, and he's like,
yeah,
I've actually seen something.
Yeah, but Frankie saw that coming. He called it. He said OKC's going to be one of the best teams in the league. And they really are, man. I mean, they took Cleveland out to the woodshed about a week and a half ago, and Cleveland. I don't believe in Cleveland yet, by the way. Let's talk about Cleveland for a brief second.
Right.
All right, so they're the best team in the East right now.
Yeah.
There's 7 in front of the Celtics, 8 in front of the Knicks. Do you really think they're getting past the second round, Mike?
I think that would depend on who comes out of that round. I mean, you playing a team like, well, hold on. So the NBA doesn't reseed. So
no, you stay in your bracket.
You stay in your bracket through the round. So one would have to play to a 3.
If all things stay,
if
all things stay chalk as they say,
yeah.
1, 4, 2, 3. Meaning, if all the favorites win that are supposed to win,
4, 2, 3, right.
1 would play 4, 2 would play 3.
So as of now, that's the Pacers.
That would be Pacers at Cleveland, which Cleveland can win.
Cleveland could win,
and Knicks would get Celtics, which would be a fucking
bloodbath. Get the
Celtics
again. Yeah, if in a perfect world, no injuries, anything like that. Yeah, absolutely. We're looking
right. No injuries. Everything stays chalk.
They could very well make a run to the conference finals.
Right, if it stays that way. But I could also see them tripping up. I don't trust the lack of experience on that team. And you know who their team actually reminds me of? Their team reminds me of the Knicks of a couple of years ago. The overachieving team that plays hard every night for a really good, hard-pushing coach, because that's what Atkins is. Atkins is very Thibodeau-like, okay? So he's getting the most out of his team during the regular season, but in the postseason, everybody plays defense. In the postseason, everybody plays hard. Every game. There's no back-to-backs. Everybody gets a rest.
Looking at something a little different, the Bucks.
The quiet threat that's been rising up in the East again.
The Bucks moving up possibly. They're only a game behind the Pacers.
Let's not forget the Bucks at one point were 6-12.
That's true. Right. Yeah.
And now
they were the worst team in the Eastern Conference.
They were so disappointing. And now all of a sudden they've ripped off a month and a half of wins. They're in the 5 slot, a game behind the 4 slot. Right. And the Bucks are a team that has won a championship, has their 3 championship guys back healthy playing again in Giannis, Middleton, and Lopez. And right. I will not sleep on that team. Mike, you know this. Experience matters.
Experience does matter. Yes.
Experience matters.
Absolutely. I've seen teams make title games, and it's their first time, and it's all young kids, and just the limelight. You're like, it has to be.
Right.
They couldn't handle the pressure.
I'm seeing that 5-4 upset, Mike, happening, which is why I said, can Cleveland get knocked out in the second round by Milwaukee?
Milwaukee.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now somehow like the Heat moving up, I don't see that because the
Heat
Heat
are
look like they're
toast.
they're
Jimmy Butler's got
about
his
to.
foot out the door.
Yeah.
Pat Riley has his foot up Jimmy Butler's ass.
Yeah.
That team is doing nothing.
Pistons, Magic, Hawks upsetting.
Nah,
Round
I don't
one?
see enough there. And Trae Young is too much of a bitch.
That's
I
true.
don't see enough there.
But, I mean, he beat the Sixers like that too.
So what? He's such a. Let me tell you something. There's an NBA player that I can't stand right now. It's that little funky hair, looking like he came out of the fucking sewer rat motherfucker. I can't stand Trae Young.
I've hated him since that series because just watching him flop all over the floor.
And just the way
he 3 free throws.
I don't like the way. I'm not going to take away his playing ability. He's a good player. He's a damn good player. And when he's hot from three, he's Steph-like. He can knock him down like it's out of style. But I don't like his mannerisms. That's what I don't like about him. I don't like how he conducts himself. He's a cocky little shit. You know, he's not Steph Curry.
But that's the prototypical NBA now. So,
all right. So let's talk quick about something else before we get to football, because we have football to cover, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about Joel Embiid has made $266 million as a Philadelphia 76er. I have been a pro advocate since last year for trading his ass and building around Maxey. He has played 400 of 866 games. He has literally missed half the games in his Philadelphia career. Mike, when does this madness end? When do the Sixers look at this and say, all right, it's like the hot girlfriend, you know? You have the hot girlfriend, you're having fun, you're banging her, but then, you know, there's nights where she says, oh, I'm doing my hair, this and that. And you got inklings that she's doing other things, but she's so hot, you have so much fun that you keep playing around with her, you know? But when are you going to get tired of her going hanging out with the other guy when you know she's there? You know it's not working. You know she's not going to be your wife because she's a hoe. When are you moving on?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Premarital sex makes me sick. So I don't know what you're talking
about. The views of Mike do not reflect the views of this show or
us Catholic boys here in Philadelphia. Wait until marriage for that kind of sinning. Anyway.
We suck again.
No, Mike is saying we don't suck.
That is what's going on here. We are sucking, and I don't know what to continue to say about the Sixers, man. It's
the dude doesn't play, Mike.
Right. So they just showed a stat the other day that he has been out 400 games.
Yeah, of the 866, it's almost half the games that he's been a Sixer for.
He's been on the bench hurt, or his belly hurt,
or his leg is broken and stuck up his ass, or whatever it is,
or he broke an orbital bone, or I agree with you. It's time to move on. I've even been talking to some other big time Sixers fans over this weekend about it. And
big time Sixers fans, do they even exist? I've been in your building.
Yeah. I know these guys. Listen, they go to the games when they were like 4-50. Okay, they're still going to the games. Don't know why, but hey,
same reason I root for the Jets, Mike.
Why is that?
Because when you make your choice as a child, you're rooting for the laundry for the rest of your life.
Well, I wouldn't go to a game if they were 4-60.
Well, tickets are cheap then.
That's true. Get good floor seats. Get on TV like me. So, yeah, they got to move on to it. But now here's the thing. I'm Mr. Snyder with the Philadelphia Sixers, right? I'm calling you. You could be anybody. You could go ahead and pick your team.
I'm going to pick a team.
Go ahead.
I'm the Lakers.
Hey, I got you all beat here. What are you giving up?
Well, considering I just got Luca Doncic, and I need a big, and if I get Embiid and I pair him with Doncic and LeBron, I really think I can make a run at the title. The question becomes, what do you want? I have 2 first-rounders available. I have 2 second-rounders available. We could probably make the contracts work if I give you a lot of ancillary pieces.
Okay, so we're looking for at least 2 first years in a row. So you got to make a trade with another team.
So we have to get a third team involved.
Give us a call when you got it.
All right, I got Utah. Utah's on the phone, ready to go.
Okay. And
a team now, this is the reality. A team like the Lakers, specifically, I'm going to be specific to them. The Joel Embiid trade makes sense to take a shot.
Money-wise.
No, you make it work with other teams and getting other teams involved. It does. It makes sense because if the Lakers really feel they're a big away now that they got Doncic, I would sell the farm to take the chance. Because what do I got? 2 more years of LeBron?
Yeah, and look, that's ultimately what we're getting at is the Sixers, even though he is so injury prone,
he's still great.
He's still worth 2 first-round picks.
Oh, he's worth more probably, Mike.
So,
which is why they'd have to get another team involved. He's worth more than just 2. He's probably worth 3 or 4, even still with his injury-prone older self. Because when he is on the floor, he's a dominant force.
But
people don't want to hear this. He's better than Anthony Davis when he's healthy.
But at the trade, we're getting to the trade deadline, right?
February 6th.
We're getting to the trade deadline. Who is really desperate enough to go ahead and try to get a aging big who also wants to chase for a title?
I really can only think of...
Like, we have to try to satisfy him, too.
I would have said Dallas, but Dallas got Davis now.
Right.
So now I'm back to the Lakers.
Well, you get a Twin Tower situation going on there.
And it won't work. We've seen teams try it. It just never works.
I don't think it would either. Not in the new NBA.
I would say Lakers, Clippers. Now, also, if I'm Philly and I'm going to try to pull that trigger, I'm going to try to get him as far away from my state as I can. I don't want him in my conference. I don't want him suddenly becoming healthy in my conference and torturing the fuck out of me. So I want to get him to the Western Conference.
He's got to go to the West.
So I want to get him to Utah. I want to get him to the Lakers. I want to get him to the Clippers. I think maybe those are really the only. Even the Utah really isn't realistic unless they get involved as a third team because they have a big.
Right.
Lakers and Clippers, that's it. If you ask me, and I'm looking at the landscape, Golden State, could you take a shot with Golden State?
But even Golden State's. Where the hell are they? Here we go.
They're falling apart.
But there's a game out of they're still in.
Yeah, but they're falling apart. They're not.
They
need something to change things there.
I would imagine that the guys would want a top 3 protected pick or a top 3 pick.
Unprotected. But you're probably not going to get that because a bum team is not going to trade for Davis. I mean, for Embiid. It's going to be a contender that thinks they can win.
That's what I'm the first pick that they would get this year would have to be somewhere in the top 5.
Not going to happen.
And I just don't see it. I really don't see it happen. If it does, I think it's awesome. This would be the peaceful transition of power.
You know who has a lot of picks and who is a lot better than everybody thought and who might take a chance? Houston.
Okay.
Houston has a shit ton of picks that they got from all the trades, from Harden and all the shit that they've done. A shit ton.
Right.
Houston is a lot better than anybody thought they were going to be. They're a very young team. An older guy like Embiid to lead, play the center spot.
Yeah.
They can satisfy the assets that Philadelphia would need to pull the trigger. They can easily give you 4 1s. Easily. And some of them not there, so some of them may be high choices. You know?
Yeah. That's something maybe they could look into. But that would be somebody being desperate to the point where they're going, that we need.
We're a piece away.
We're one piece away.
Right, we're a
And-
piece away.
And until he starts filing in and he's 100% healthy, he is a backup. Until he's 100%
He's
healthy.
killing your team right now by not playing.
He is. Yeah, it's not. It's no fun watching it. I mean, Maxey is great to watch. And like I said, that would be in a perfect world right now, the best move I think for both teams, the Embiid team and the Sixers. Like, hey man, look, the process is over. You know, we tried. We respect you enough that we would send you to a
contender
like Houston. You know, they're offering 2 first rounders and some guy off the bench.
Well, you got to make salaries match within 10% in the NBA. So
Okay.
there would have to be pieces coming back because it's not like Embiid's making chump change.
Yeah, and I don't know where the Sixers stand on the salary cap scale. It's probably not very good.
Well, they used to have a lot of room, then they signed Paul George.
And then they signed Paul George, right? Which you were happy about that. You were
As a Knicks fan, I was thrilled about it. Yeah.
no, but you were even saying, "Oh, he's going to help." I'm like,
Yeah, no. But what was my thing when I said about him when the trade happened? Now you have 2 guys that are always hurt.
yeah, it's
I felt the Sixers. Listen, I'll say this in hindsight. Hindsight's always 20/20. The Sixers had to take that chance
no.
and beat older.
I don't think so,
Max
because
is really good. If Paul George and Embiid both, and I still say this, if all 3 of them could stay on the court at the same fucking time, they'd be a really good team. But the problem is the 3 are never on the court at the same time.
yes, your 40% 3-point career percentage is no good when you're on IR.
That's right.
It means absolutely nothing. I don't give a flying hoot if the guy fucking goes 8 for 8 all the fucking time from behind the arc. If you're not on the court, it doesn't go on the stat sheet. He's hurt all the fucking time.
Right.
That's it. It is a travesty of a season. They got us again. It's like being a Jet fan.
No, it's not. The Jets aren't even competitive. Don't even compare it.
Why not?
Don't even compare it.
No, but they
even
get
compare
you
it.
excited with the old names.
And we'll talk about the Jets after because they got a new head coach.
Yes, they did.
And it's one that I was skeptical on, but after doing more and more digging, I'm okay with it. And I'll tell you why when we get to that. To finish off the NBA, the whole Knicks situation is going to come down to Mitch Robinson, his health, or if they offload him to get another big. Because right now the Knicks, in my opinion, are a solid big away from being a legitimate Eastern Conference championship contender. They're right there. Right now, if nothing changes, they're going to win 55 games. They're going to be the 3 seed. They're going to have a shot at Boston in the second round. Maybe to get to the 2 seed, still Boston in the second round. And we'll see what happens. But for the Knicks to really eclipse where we want them, where we think they should be, which is to get to the finals, not even win it, to get to it, they need another big, whether Mitch suddenly gets healthy for the first time in his fucking career or whether they trade him off and they go get someone like, dare I say, a Valanciunas. You know, now Valanciunas is interesting because what we're missing from Mitch is defense and shot blocking, and that's not what Valanciunas is. What Valanciunas is a big that can fill up the bucket. You know, he's a big that, in all honesty, if you pair him with Towns, becomes very hard to defend because you have 2 7-footers that can fill it up. Is Valanciunas great? No. Is he very good? Yes. Does he have experience? Yes. He's won a title in Toronto. He's, you know, it changes how you're doing things a little bit, but could have the same ancillary effect. The Knicks right now are putting up numbers records scoring per game, except for last night against the fucking Lakers, where they're looking like one of the more prolific teams offensively in a long time since Steph's Warriors went nuts. They've had 5 games where they put up 140 or more points. When Brunson and Towns and Anunoby and Bridges are all cooking, who do you fucking guard? I mean, the Knicks really have scoring prowess. But then there's a game like last night where for some reason everybody's kind of off a little bit and you need to play better defense. And they didn't have that last night. That I say this with pain in my soul. They had no answer for LeBron last night. None.
The guy's 40.
And
you can't let him. He put 33.
And he was physical, Mike.
33, 11, and 12.
Mike, he went to the hole like he owned it.
30 minutes.
Yep.
37 minutes.
At 40 years old.
At 40 years old.
Yep.
I mean, that's LeBron, though, man. Like you said, he's a gym rat.
He's a gym rat. He's in great shape. And last night, he was as physical as I've seen him be all year. He went to the hole constantly. The Knicks, without having a Mitch Robinson type, a real rim protector, couldn't stop him from doing it. And that's where the Knick weakness is right now. That's where it is. It's right there. When you don't have someone that can protect against a big like that can drive the hole. And, LeBron, even at 6'8", plays a lot bigger than that. He's strong as a fucking bull. And if you don't get in his way in the lane, you're going to do whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that's kind of what happened last night. All right. So that's the NBA right now where we stand. Let's touch briefly, so briefly, on hockey. Briefly.
Sure.
The Rangers, who I thought were a cup contender, are now fighting for their playoff lives. So they go and they pull a big trade off. And they bring back a former Ranger, JT Miller, who is a star player, who is a damn good player. They lose Philip Cheeto in the deal, who's kind of an emotional leader for them, but honestly, he hasn't done anything this year. He's been less than average. I think the Rangers, almost like we were just talking about with the Lakers and the NBA, they're taking a chance because they kind of need to change the narrative. They've been winning some games lately. They've looked better. They've seemed to have righted themselves a little bit, but they're not the team we thought they were going to be. And they're hoping that this move gives them, because JT Miller is a tough guy. And that's something the Rangers lack, is toughness. They look like a bunch of bitches at times on the ice, getting pushed around, getting outskated. So they're hoping Miller can change that. I like the gamble of the trade. I like JT Miller. I didn't like when they lost him the first time. So I like Miller. And that's about it, from the Rangers' perspective, trying to survive.
Yeah. They turned it up against the Flyers the other night, which, every time I looked up, the fucking lamp was lit. And they won like
you love
6-3
playing
or something.
Philadelphia.
It was. I'm at pool and I'm like, it's 3-2. That's pretty cool. All right, it's 4-2, 5-2. I just looked away. They lit him up like the 4th of July.
We play Philadelphia. It's like our get right game.
Yeah, really. And I'm like, this is the fucking team that's supposed to be fucking tanking. What the hell's going on here? So yeah, they're still keeping up with it. But in other news, the Flyers did make a trade too. Segue into that, and somehow got younger.
It's not a bad trade, actually.
Even younger. They sent Morgan Frost and Joel Faribi to Calgary for Andre Kuzmenko and Jacob Petelier. Sorry to all of our French Canadian friends. I barely even want the Spanish class.
Mike Carr butchering names for the sake of the show.
Yes, just for the sake of the show. For the sake of Philadelphia, too. Welcome. I won't get your name down until you are ready to leave.
Till we actually give a shit about you, yeah.
I'm just going to call him Jacob for now because I feel like I can call him Jacob. That's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference if you didn't know that.
I don't watch anything about
He's-
Philadelphia, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
Wow, you should. It's a great show, and it explains us to a T.
That's exactly why I won't watch it. We'll talk more about explaining your people when we get to football.
So he turns 24 on March 7th.
Yeah, he's young.
And he's high octane. Like
That's what I said. I think it's a
winger.
good trade. I think
He's a very quick winger.
where the Flyers are right now, which is really nobody, yourself, anybody in Philadelphia. The Flyers are not supposed to do anything this year. This is a move for next year. This is a move that puts them in a position with another young winger that they think can fill up the net going forward to grow with their already young core.
Move the puck.
Which
has always been, it's kind of been a Flyers thing. We don't get the puck back down the other end. We're okay on the first 2/3. We get the save, we move it up, and then it's always getting turned over and coming back in our faces. Hence the Rangers game the other day. But he is one of those tougher guys that I can't even think of his name right now. I'm sorry, but he's one of those guys that we're going to be looking for, like you said, to the future, and he will make us more competitive with the line with Couturier.
And he's 24.
And he's
20.
And the fact that he's 20, the fact we got even younger, we were already one of the youngest teams in the league. I think now we are officially the youngest team in the league.
So the Flyers trying to act like a hockey club again. I like it.
Yeah, well, we're not owned by a Commanders, marketing group.
Wow. So we're going to, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was a shot to the Sixers.
That was a shot. Okay. Speaking of shots. All right. So before we get into the actual football, I want to talk to you about a subject that I bring up to you frequently. And I didn't bring this up in our pre-show production, so I wanted to get your live reaction to it. Okay. I've always been a downer when it comes to the way many of your fans react when you guys win a fucking game. Okay. And I always refer to the schmucks climbing light poles and the idiots not acting like they've been there before. And this stupid fucking 18, God rest his soul, I'm sorry this happened, but this stupid 18-year-old kid from Temple climbs a fucking light pole, acting like they've never been there before, falls off, Mike, and he dies. Yes. Mike, I mean, I'm going to say it again. Fuck is wrong with you people? Why are we climbing light poles? Why can't we act like we've been there before? You've won an NFC championship before. Why do your people have to act like a bunch of fucking schmucks every time you guys win a big game? And this is why people root against Philadelphia, Mike. This kid's lost his life doing something that he always sees Philadelphia fans doing. Problem, Mike. It's a problem.
It is a problem. I was a part of the Northeast Philly festivities, and even that didn't go good. So
cars running into crowds.
Hold on.
I didn't mean it. I was drunk.
That was Center City. This is the tale of two areas. But I want to point this out. And I don't care who hears it, sees it. Now this guy probably could live down the street from me. The guy who discharged his gun 3 times.
Oh, my God.
In the middle of Coppin and Frankfurt. You're a pussy.
What an asshole.
You're a jerk-off. Okay? You are a sorry excuse for an American because we have laws that allow us to carry. And for law-abiding citizens like myself, who's permanent and owns weapons, okay? I'm not going around acting like it's a fucking Roman candle.
Unbelievable.
Okay? Because you probably never got past 3rd fucking grade where they told you what goes up must come down. That's why you don't discharge a weapon in the air. No such thing as warning shots. Warning shots are just as dangerous as a shot at somebody.
Well, like you said, what goes up must come down.
What if somebody's kid is walking out to go into those festivities with us to celebrate this great time and gets hit in the head with that bullet? And you know what? I thought about this, and I thought, I don't like ugly, but I'm going to say it. I hope it was one of your family that it would happen.
Oof.
Just so that you would know how much of a fucking idiot you are. And you wouldn't have the balls to look at somebody and pull that trigger.
Now, Mike,
That's why you do something like that.
Obviously, I'm not from Philadelphia, right? I have many friends in Philadelphia, as you know.
Yes.
I've coached football in Philadelphia.
Yes.
You know, I've seen the culture there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very New York-esque. A lot of similarities.
We have a lot of similarities.
Which is probably why our two cities don't get along so good, because they're very alike.
We can only be one.
Right. I'm going to say this. New York fans have done stupid things too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, nobody does stupider things than the Eagles fan base. I don't get it. I don't get why they have to create a dangerous situation. And again, it's not like it's a little more understandable the year Foles won the Super Bowl, because you guys hadn't been there, since 81 and had never won one. It was a first time. People are going to get stupid even if you don't like it thing. This is many years later now. You've already been to another Super Bowl even though you lost it. This is the second time in 3 years you're winning the conference championship. Can we fucking act like we've been there? Can we not do stupid shit? Can we not climb poles? Can we not discharge guns? Can we not get in the car in the crowd drunk? Can we not do these stupid things that, quite frankly, Mike, make your fan base look like shit? Okay. It really does.
So let's get on to that point too. Those are 3 incidences out of 7 million people.
But there are 3 incidents that 2 of them caused loss of life, Mike.
Okay.
The kid is the most. So that's the one I'm sad about.
It's very disappointing. The kid was an idiot.
Kid.
The kid was a drunk idiot, and he fell.
Right, but my point about that, Mike, is he's doing it because he's seen your other fans do it.
Right, and and in the 70s they did it because they wanted a better look at the parade going by. Somebody's uncle climbed the fucking pole and slid right back down it with no issue. We've been to championships since. We've won a few titles. People have gone up the pole and come down the pole with no fucking issue. Even when they're greased, they've got up and they've come down.
They're greased for a reason, Mike. They're telling you not to do it.
Right. And did you see my fat ass going up that pole? No, poles are for strippers.
You couldn't make it up that pole.
No way am I going up there. No way. Not with a backpack with a 12-pack in it.
Yeah. You get up 3 steps, you get up 3 feet, you'd be like, I'm going to go down and have a beer.
I'm sweating. But yes, there's also a different generational gap that I've seen. It's another time that I felt old being down there this time at Common of Frankfurt, where I'm watching my friends' kids run around and being drunk and disorderly and crazy and, within reason. And I'm going, what the fuck is their problem?
I'm not that old guy, Mike. I'm not saying don't have fun.
Oh, listen, we had a blast. Mind you, I don't know if you saw the video. Even when that guy discharged his gun, nobody moved.
Unbelievable.
Nobody moved. I mean,
Unfucking real.
Gunshot, whatever. That is that area. And to segue into something a little off topic, because we're talking about Cottman Avenue. Rest in peace to everybody in that tragic plane
from
crash.
The plane crash. That's terrible.
That was just.
I actually work with a guy. I work with a guy who lives right there, and his house didn't get hit by any of the. Oh
my god!
But yet to be evacuated. They evacuated everybody because of jet fuel fumes.
Yeah.
Because the plane was fully fueled on its way to Mississippi.
4 minutes.
And dude, I feel so bad. This little girl had life-saving surgery. Her parents are with her. The doctors are with her. It's a terrible tragedy.
It was a tragedy.
Oh,
it's
terrible.
So sad. That area is trying to be fixed up. It was on the up and up. They just redid that whole mall. And you're getting these small businesses. That auto tag place has been there since I was a kid. The same goddamn sign and everything.
Yep.
Since the early '80s.
I know the area. I know it well. Yeah.
And I was off subject. I just wanted to send out my condolences to everybody. And if anybody has they're still looking for the black box. They can't find it. They found stuff 5 miles away.
Yeah.
They're finding debris and body parts miles away.
Well, do you understand what happens when 50 gallons of fucking jet fuel explodes?
Which, hey, conspiracy theorists.
I'm not buying into it.
Let's be real here. Let's be real here. This is what happens when a small jet hits the ground.
Yeah, and it's fully fueled. That's the key. Fully fueled. It's like a bomb goes off. It's fully
like a bomb goes off.
Yeah.
Let's stop.
I think that eventually when they find out, they're going to find out that it had engine failure, and it just
I think
it wasn't high enough to glide down. Like if you watch the videos that are there, and there's a bunch of them, right?
Yeah. They were saying most likely it's like a fake horizon, the artificial horizon. So a plane has a natural ability to stable itself out,
right,
on autopilot. But when it's that cloudy, you don't know what's up or down. And
we'll find out.
But
again, my condolences as well to anybody affected by that, whether it's your house.
Seriously, and anybody that does watch, if you need anything, I'm a big member of that area. Reach out. We'll figure something out. But back to our idiot fan base. We got 3 instances, 2 separate areas, and it's a tale of 2 separate areas. Frankfurt Cottman is very much communal. You got the same people that own the stores that are around there. You didn't see any looting. You saw no cars getting flipped over. You had one guy discharge a weapon. You had a couple fights. That happens. That's going to happen. It's whenever these gatherings happen because of championships, crime rate plummets in the Frankfurt Cottman area, which has been plagued for years with crime, with just idiots going around on a normal basis. I lived on Cottman, 3 blocks from that intersection, and I can't tell you how many car accidents I see because they've treated Cottman Ave like it's Pocono Raceway, and they drag race down it. I seen a guy sideswipe every car going westbound on Cottman Avenue, make a U-turn like he's fucking Dominic Toretto from the Fast and the Furious, and throw his Hennessy bottle out the window and sideswipe the rest of the fucking... Like, he didn't cause enough fucking problems because you're a drunk idiot. Now, mind you, too, all the bars in that area have shut down. There's no bars in that area anymore. So we can't blame them. Oh, you drunken Philly idiots. Like, no, these people are doing this in their own houses. Okay?
There's still a bunch of drunken idiots, whether it's in their house or in a bar.
Well, true. But it's not like, oh, yeah, look, these derelicts just going down. It's that Frankfurt Ave.
I'm not blaming it, Mike. I'm not throwing it on everyone, Mike. I'm saying that young people follow what they see.
True.
Okay? And if they see a schmuck when they're 8 years old, climb a light pole and are successful and get down successfully and don't get hurt, when that 8-year-old becomes 18 and goes to Temple University, he climbs that fucking light pole, but he's a kid who can't handle his liquor.
Yes.
He falls off, cracks his head open, and dies 2 days later. I'm talking about a society setting a better example.
And I'm trying
youth
to
when it comes to winning. Mike, I love to win as much as anyone. Okay? And I celebrate when my teams win. I don't think, and I'm not banging on Philly for this. I'm banging on, there's lots of fan bases that do stupid shit. The worst ones are probably the soccer fan bases in Europe. Right?
And I'm going to get to something, too, about where this kid's from.
Where's he from?
Toronto.
That's what I mean. He's not even from Philadelphia. So he's not even from there. Right. He's going to college there.
Right. And this, like the kid who ate shit from the main line. It's not like these are Philadelphians that are doing this. These are people that are just, I don't know, going with the flow. And they honestly think that as soon as the clock hits 0 and the trophy is given out, it's time to purge. And
Terrible.
it's not.
It's terrible.
Not. It's just time to go out and go, holy shit, man, we did
Just
it
have a
again.
good time.
Let's
Without
have
the
a good
stupid
time.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to break a couple laws by being drunk and disorderly in public by screaming
Yell and
at each other.
scream and be a bunch of drunk assholes. I'm all
And
for
then
that.
when the cops say disperse.
And when they grease the fucking pole, don't
Touch it. I always joked about it and said, I'm going to start selling bottles of Dawn down there for $10
Oh my God.
for the people that want to go up the pole. It's not even funny anymore now. Now that kid ruined my joke.
Yeah, you know, it's and again, I'm very sad for the kid, his family.
It's sad.
It's a life that didn't have to be lost. It's
Right.
a life that was lost over doing something stupid that he shouldn't have been doing and following the lead of previous people before him to do it.
Yeah.
And that's more my point than anything is Philadelphians, are you listening? I love a lot of you people. I really do, including my friend Mike.
Oh, thanks.
Please stop doing things that stupid kids are going to follow you and do also. Because even though you survived doing it and you grew up in the city and you've done things like this before, doesn't mean the kid from Toronto has done that. And he sees you doing it and thinks it's cool and ends up taking his own life by climbing a light pole. Please, let's act like we've been there before. You're a good team. Your city has a perennial winner right now. Act like you've been there.
Right. And that's the actions of a few shouldn't reflect.
But they always do.
They do. Well,
They always do.
Now, let's segue into the Super Bowl.
Okay, before we get to the Super Bowl, let's talk about the championship games.
Okay, we'll talk about the championship games, but I want to make this point. This is what I mean by the media twists. They do this all the time with Philadelphia because it's a good fucking story.
They're twisting it. It's not the truth.
It's not
fake
true.
news.
It's not true. It's fake
Fake
news.
news.
It's fake news. I didn't do it. I was barely even there.
It's tremendous. I only showed my face for a minute, and I was out of there. I had nothing to do with this.
So, but this is what they did with the team all year. This is what they do anytime something bad happens. Oh, look at these derelicts. Look at these drunks. Look at these idiots. Stop it. Stop. Because when any other team wins and they're burning the city down, it never gets broadcasted.
Because none of your other teams win.
Just because they haven't had a parade in over 20 years in New York,
we suck again.
you don't have to take it out on me, brother.
Well, you take a shot at me now, huh? Okay.
Well, I'm just saying you took the
And
first.
I guess I deserve it. It's been take shots at Philadelphia day for Turk over here.
Yeah.
But now we're going to give you some love.
Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
conference championship.
So we're going to talk about conference championships. First, I'm going to go to the AFC side. Okay. In which Josh Allen, for as long as he lives, will never beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Shit the bed again.
It's just not going to happen. The Chiefs do what the Chiefs do. They just win conference championship games and go to the Super Bowl.
I thought this was the Bills' chance to do it too.
I say this with love and hate all at the same time. Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. Maybe the best to ever do it. He's on the road. He just doesn't fold in big situations. His coach is the winningest coach for 2 franchises.
Yeah.
His coach has evolved with him. Andy Reid is a much better coach, and he was damn good in Philly. He's better now.
Damn good.
He's a damn good coach, and they just know. And you know what? America, fucking listen to me. Stop bitching about the refs. They suck for everyone. Stop. They're going to protect their biggest players. They're going to protect the quarterbacks. They're not going to let them get pummeled. And because of that, they're going to make mistakes and make stupid calls when they shouldn't make them, being overprotective. It is not a Chiefs thing. You're going to tell me, and I've heard this conspiracy theory, oh, the NFL's conspiring to get Taylor Swift and the Chiefs there because you're going to make more money.
Oh, God.
So
Or
what
the
you're
colors,
telling me the other 31
too.
teams, Mike, you're telling me the other 31 owners are like, yeah, we'll suck this year so the Chiefs can win again so we can make more money off of Taylor Swift. Shut the fuck up. I can't take it no more, Mike. The refs are bad for everybody, okay? The officiating mistakes are consistent across the board. It gets magnified with Kansas City because Kansas City's good. And the last thing you want to see is a team that good getting help like that. Was the call made against Mahomes egregious and shouldn't have been called? Absolutely. Did the same shit happen with Tom Brady? Absolutely. You know,
Absolutely.
This is what the league does. They're not cheating for a team. They are protecting a great asset. It's business. They're protecting an asset. Okay.
Which in a way is cheating.
Well, it's not really because it's not intentional. It's just kind of the way it is. It's almost like, Mike, you go to a bar, you order a beer, you drink your beer, and there's another beer in front of you that might not have been meant for you, but ended up in front of you. And you're like, I'm done with my beer. I might as well drink this one. Nobody's touching it. It's right here. I'm going to drink it. You know, it's kind of the same thing. You're not really meaning to do something criminal, you know, but it just, you're kind of in the flow of the moment. Now, look, the Chiefs have proven the ability to adapt to the NFL. They went from high-powered scoring machine years ago that would just run you out of the building with Tyreek Hill running circles around you and Kelsey running up the middle free because everyone had to fucking guard Tyreek Hill from running circles around you, to a team that now plays solid defense and scores when they have to, right? Mahomes does Mahomes things when he has to do Mahomes things, but that's not their MO anymore. Their MO is they are a solid defensive team. The Bills, in my opinion, did a good job putting up 29 against them because people just don't do that against KC anymore. But you could say what you want about the Mahomes call. Nobody told Buffalo to let that last drive happen.
No.
You know, nobody told Buffalo to let Mahomes go down the field and do it to him yet again. You know, so the Chiefs, in my opinion, have earned their spot. And if your team is going to win next week, they're going to fucking earn it because the Chiefs are not going to go away. That is not going to – I think the game is going to be great. I think we're looking at a potential all-time game, just like the last one a couple of years ago. You guys have a new toy in it with Saquon, who looks determined to stick it up everyone's ass. And your team has a puncher's chance. They do. Now, reviewing the Bills and Chiefs again, that game went exactly how I expected it, Mike. I expected it to be a good game, a close game, a tough game, and Kansas City to figure out how to win the game in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I was, especially at the time, I guess, I felt like football, the better thing to do would have been the Bills winning, because you would have had.
I wanted Bills Redskins. I think that would have been phenomenal.
You would have had the two best fan bases in the Super Bowl with the Bills and the Eagles.
Good bullshit. Sorry, I have a cold. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What the fuck?
I digress. I would have caught the first plane down in New Orleans. Oh, cool. Look at that. How did that happen?
I don't know. Why'd you give a thumbs up there?
I was going like this and pointing.
How that happened? Mike, do that again.
Whatever.
What? Oh,
what the fuck is this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is somebody watching?
I don't know. Nobody's watching. We're not live.
So, all right. Anyway, I would have been on the first plane this weekend or next weekend down in New Orleans, not to obviously go to the game, but.
Well, no, you're not a 7-figure millionaire that can go to the game.
No,
Before you go any further in what you're about to say, do you see these ticket prices?
I'm barely a 5-figure guy.
Bro, if you want to sit in the nosebleeds,
yeah,
it's $7,000.
Oh, 7?
It's
maybe
up to 7 now.
Maybe it's 3 in the corner.
I mean, I've accepted the fact that I'm never going to.
Never going to the Super Bowl.
No.
I did that in 17. I went to the NFC Championship, and my dad wanted to leave a little early.
I'd actually rather go to a conference championship game than
was
a Super Bowl game.
It was cool. It was
Yeah.
cool. I told him he's an idiot. I'll sit in as much traffic as possible.
Right,
You never know when this is going to happen again.
right.
Moving on. I really wanted the Bills to win. It's no shock to me that the Chiefs did win. To kind of piggyback on your analogy earlier, I think it's more you're going into the bar and you sit next to the guy who's always there. He's a complete regular. He's in there Tuesday morning. He's in there Saturday night.
He's a Kensington loser.
And the bartender just keeps walking around you and constantly serves this guy, no matter what you do.
That's where his money is.
You can't get his attention.
That's where his money is.
Because that's where the money's at. So that's more why Kansas City gets the calls. I get what you're saying. Not that
It's not set up.
It's not
what my
right.
point is.
It's
right.
not right.
Right.
But it's business.
It's just kind of the tenure of it. There's certain guys.
Yeah. Yes. LeBron gets the calls. My problem is when they get to the flopping, and where we saw Pat take a big one this year.
Mike, you're a competitor, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm competitive, ain't I?
Yeah.
I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
I've told my players when coaching, if that defensive lineman moves at you and gets within 5 inches of you, to an offensive lineman, I've said this, fall on the ground like you just got hit by a truck. That's flopping.
Okay.
But that's flopping. That's flopping to show so the referee sees the obviousness of the defensive encroachment.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
It's to get the call. It is embellishing. I'm not going to say it's not.
I was a center forever. If a guy even crossed the line, I fell.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
So to me, this Pat Mahomes doing that falls under the same category. He knows he can get calls, so he's going to embellish to get the call.
Right, but at least let it do better with your acting. You know, I was an Academy Award winner because I also kicked. I kicked during a game, and a guy touched me, and I went to the fucking ground and jumped up like this. And he goes, "The guy just scooped the ball and scored a 2-pointer. You want me to take away the 2 points?"
Oh my God!
So I get it. I do get it. Be a better actor.
All right,
anyway.
so I think we both, you wanted the Bills to win. I didn't, obviously, because I'm a Jets fan. But I think the better Super Bowl, which you'll hate me for, would have been Buffalo and Washington, just because it would have been something new and different. It would have been two franchises that can, Washington hasn't gotten it done in a million years. Here they are.
The last time was against Buffalo.
They switched.
Right. We saw
right. They switch. In a year which they get a new owner, and they get a new coaching staff, and they draft the right guy. And I still say Jaden Daniels is the right guy.
Jaden Daniels is the right guy.
Right. It could have been fun to see. But now let's start looking at the NFC Championship game. We'll talk about
playoffs. Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
No, I'm going to talk about playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah, I'm talking about them. So, all right. I picked Washington foolishly. Okay.
Idiot.
Admittedly, more of a rooting for Washington because I hate the Eagles. Right.
Okay.
The reality of what I saw that game is this. We haven't spoken since the Rams game, correct?
Right.
I felt the Rams in good weather conditions would have beaten the Eagles that day. Weather played a big part in it, in the turnovers and shit. This game was different. Weather didn't play part in Washington's turnovers. Of Washington's 4 turnovers, 2 were over their own stupid mistakes. They were able to move the ball. It would have been a really good game if Washington could have held on to the ball. But to the Eagles' credit, every time Washington turned the ball over, the Eagles took it, shined it up all nice and clean, and stuck it right up their candy ass. Right. Every turnover, the Eagles turned into a touchdown. And you know this in football. I know this in football.
The team
Everybody knows in football.
Everybody knows this. This is the truth. This is what it really is. It's not my saying. I didn't do it, but they say it's done. If you win the turnover battle, you win the game 90% of the time. And Washington turned the ball over like it was their God-given right to do it. Saquon Barkley ran like his life depended on it. The cops were chasing him. And the Eagles blow him out and put up a double nickel.
And they are who they thought they were.
You want to hear a fun fact that I didn't realize? In playoff games in which Jalen Hurts throws for under 150 yards, the Eagles are 5-0. Do you know why?
Oh, I know why.
I know why.
I know why.
Because that means they're running the fucking ball up your ass. That's what it means. It means that they are running the ball up your ass. Now, this is even pre-Barkley. When Hurts doesn't throw for a lot, Swift did it too. And Swift went off a couple of games. The Eagles win.
Yep.
Because I don't give a fuck how much they try to change our sport, Mike. It still comes down to run the ball and play defense. If you can run the ball and you can play defense, you're going to win the fucking game.
You own the clock. If you run the ball and you play defense. So let's point this out. Last time the Eagles played Washington, they won the turnover battle. They won the turnover battle. They had 5 turnovers. Still lost the game.
But why?
No Jalen Hurts.
Not only that, but they won the turnover battle, but they only won the turnover battle 5-3. That's a lot different than 4-0.
Right. I understood. Still won the turnover battle.
Right.
Still won the turnover battle. I'm more getting to the fact that you're saying how good Kansas City is.
In the big moment. If this is a one-score game at the end of the game, you're going to lose. No. You have to win this game decisively to win this game.
No, we're not into the Super Bowl yet. We're talking about the NFC Championship.
Okay.
Still. The NFC Championship game, we took that ball from them like we owned it.
You did. And they did some stupid things. You see when Eckler went down and decided to get up with the ball in his fucking hand like this? And smartly, the Eagle defender swapped it away.
It's been all year. All year.
Can't treat the ball like a fucking loaf of bread, Mike. Some of these guys treat the ball like a loaf of fucking bread.
Right. So, like we said earlier about teams not being able to handle the limelight, they came here and they choked. They choked. They got embarrassed. And you know why? Because you touched my fucking statue. I tell you one more fucking time, don't fucking touch my fucking statue. Just leave the shit alone. Leave it the fuck alone. It's not yours. Don't touch it.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
You know, do I go down there and fucking piss on the White House lawn? No. No. Do I go up to George Washington's fucking the monument? You know, and
you know what I would do to the statue this week?
Fucking no.
If I was a Chiefs fan, you know what I would do to the statue this week? I would go put like a cutout of Taylor Swift's face on Rocky's head.
Here's the thing: the Chiefs are the only team that ever touched the statue that have beaten us. That's it. And it came down to a field goal. So, needless to say, I think they've learned their fucking lesson because they don't want that fucking headache again. Don't fucking touch it. Don't touch it. Let sleeping dogs lie. Okay? Because when you've awakened a sleeping giant, we're going to fuck you up. Point blank, period.
The Eagles did what they should do against a team that played the way Washington played at home.
Right,
the Eagles took complete advantage of every turnover.
Don't try to take that from me. Don't try to take that from me. You're almost being condescending.
I'm not being condescending. That's what they should do against a team that turns over the ball at their stadium in a conference championship game.
Because we took it.
No,
because we're the better team.
No, I think it's almost as much. I'm not saying you guys didn't do what you should do, but they also handed it to you on the golden plate with the turnovers. They made it easy. Okay, is what they did. I still think watching the game in hindsight, the way Barkley was able to run and everything, the Eagles, without the turnovers, still would have won the game because they controlled the line of scrimmage all game. Right?
We have the best offensive line in the league.
You do. No, I'm not even doubting that. You definitely do. And what the biggest surprise about that is that they didn't miss a step with Kelsey retiring.
Right.
You know, and everyone thought that was going to be a big detriment, but
And
they
that
actually got a replacement who seems to be just about as good as Kelsey was.
Turk,
So
he was hurt the first half.
I know he didn't play.
He had to go to work on his day off.
Yeah,
He got called.
how come don't do it for me?
I feel like this is like that ESPN show that we're not going to name because they're not buying any advertisement rights. But
They won't do it for me, Mike.
Every time I get a good point, I get a point.
Do I get this? How about what if I go with the thumbs down?
Yeah,
No?
because you're from New York. So
Wow, New York
this guy
shot.
got called in on his day off. He's sitting there. He's like, God damn, my back hurts, man. I am supposed to be on disability right now, and I gotta go in the goddamn work. Shout out to both of them to Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens for getting the job done.
Yeah, the
Getting
line
the
is
job done.
really
I
is as
hope-
good as it gets, Mike.
I hoped on everything that both of them heal up this week and they get back out there so we're 100% on the line. Now, if only one of them comes back, I'm not worried because Jeff Stoutland is the best offensive line coach to ever play. That guy needs to be cloned.
All right, well, the
He needs
first
to
thing
be
I'm going to tell you is, unlike against Washington in this game, you're not pushing Mr. Smith around. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the game. Okay? So that's point number one. Kansas City is number one against the run.
Right.
Okay? So Kansas City, and you know Andy Reid, you know what he's prepping for. His theory, if he's a good coach, which I know he is stop Barkley and make Jalen beat us. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose to Jalen Hurts. We're not losing because Barkley's running all over our faces for 150, 200 yards. We're not going to let that happen. I believe Kansas City is going to be very prepared for Barkley. I'm not saying Barkley's not still going to have a good game. When you have a running back with his talent, with a line like he has, it's almost like LeBron. He's going to get his. It's just, can you limit him getting his to not costing you the game?
Just depends on how long it's going to take.
I'm picking Kansas City, Mike.
It's fine. You can pick
Kansas City, Mike. Three-peat.
All right. New rank. 2017 was it was a miracle. It was an anomaly. It was a good show of coaching and guys showing up and getting the job done.
It was a perfect storm. It really
it's
was.
just you lost your star quarterback. We know the story. We got ours at the end of the day. 2022 was Rocky 1.
Oh,
we
here
didn't really
go.
belong there.
Here we go.
We didn't. Well, you got to play a sound guy.
Here we go. Here we
Done. 2022 was Rocky 1. I hate using Rocky, but we're going to do it because it's just so similar. We didn't really belong there. We had the young mentality. It was like, a little starstruck, but we went all 12 rounds with the best team in this probably the modern Super Bowl era. Can you agree with that?
They are the current modern dynasty.
They very well might be. They have an opportunity right now to become the
This
first
is their
real
seventh.
dynasty.
They've been in the AFC Championship game 6 years in a row. They are the current modern dynasty.
So, with that, in that. Here comes the fucking sequel. Okay, now we're fucking hungry. Now we're really fucking hungry.
I'm going to let you get this all out of your system. Go ahead.
Okay, we have one of the youngest and best defensive fronts in the league right now.
You gave up 23 points to a team that turned the ball over 4 times.
And coming back with a big veteran. BG is coming back. And do you think that he's going to go out letting that fucking weirdo Kermit the Frog over there fucking run all over him? No shot. They
You
don't
think
have
you're
a
going to
running
stop me in the pocket, Mike?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yes.
I'm going to run in circles around you guys. The referees are going to throw me flags. I'm going to throw the ball to Travis Kelce. I'm going to run outside, throw the get ball to DeAndre Hopkins. And then when you think you got me and your guys hit me, 15 yards on your guys, Mike.
You kind of sound like. Are you sure you're not Pat Mahomes?
And then when I get done, I'm going to Travis's house and banging Taylor Swift with him. Okay?
It's not going to happen, brother.
Brittany can watch.
This guy is going to be stuck in that pocket all goddamn day.
That what you think?
And we got two young studs at corner.
That's what you
know,
think,
our two main cornerbacks were drafted this year. They were drafted this year.
Which is why Pat
Mitchell
Mahomes is going to rip you a new ass.
Quentin Mitchell was the hit of the draft. It was the hit of the draft. It just so happened to stumble on Cooper DeJean, who right now they're both going for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Let me know when it's my turn, Mike, because I have things to say about your team.
You don't get a turn because you don't got a horse in the race.
I have a horse. Her name is Brittany.
Yeah, your horse is Ace. That's what it is. Offensively, again, if we have one of the two, Cam Jurgens or Lane Dickerson playing, we still have a shot at winning that game because Steen is just as good at guard. He can start. He's proven that he can start. You said at the beginning of the season, Mekhi Becton is the worst offensive
He's been
lineman
fucking. I
and the
cannot
biggest
believe.
bust
I
you've
am
ever
so
seen.
mad that he has been so goddamn good. And this is why I'm mad. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
He refused to play guard for the Jets. I'm a tackle. I'm a left tackle. But the Jets wanted to move him to guard because he was slow-footed. He goes to the Eagles.
Said, guess what? You want to
They
play?
move him to
You're gonna
guard,
play
and he's a fucking all-pro.
Stud.
Oh, my God. I cannot be more
Jeff
aggravated.
Stoutland can take anybody over 6 foot, 280 pounds, and make them a Pro Bowl lineman.
That's only because with his career in jeopardy, he was willing to move to guard because otherwise he wasn't going to have a job. As to where he had leverage with the Jets because he was a top 10 draft pick as a left tackle.
Well,
so
you
the
let one
Jets,
go,
as usual, get fucked by being the Jets. Pretty simple, right?
Here is.
Let's not talk about the Jets, the Super Bowls. Don't talk about it. Shut up.
I'm finishing up my rant.
Finish your rant, motherfucker.
Here's where the Eagles lack. And it could come down to this. Jake Elliott, are you listening to me? Get your fucking head out of your ass and make some fucking kicks. You miss one kick, whether 1 or 3, we're fucked.
Oh no! We suck again!
We are fucked. We are fucked royally. Because the only way to beat the Chiefs is to outscore the Chiefs. Leaving points on the board is not going to be good for us. Get the ball through the fucking uprights, you derelict.
Okay. Now, trying to remain.
Eagles win 35-28.
You're on crack. Now, keeping this completely up, without looking through my Eagle hatred. Okay. And before I state my Eagle hatred, I'll say I'm not a big fan of Chiefs either. I'm not, some.
Yeah, but for the sake of the show,
some Mahomes shill. Okay. But I'm going to say this.
Skip Bayless.
One thing I've learned in sports, and more than anything, when it comes to greatness of dynasties, having witnessed the Yankees of the 90s, having witnessed the Patriots, now witnessing the Chiefs, having witnessed the Steelers of the 70s.
Yeah, the Lakers.
Is greatness finds a way. Now, nobody has ever three-peated before. It has not been done because football is the hardest sport to do it in.
Hardest, absolutely.
So here you have Mahomes last year at their celebration parade proclamating that the playoffs will be in Kansas City next year and we will three-peat. A year ago, he said it.
Okay.
Pat Mahomes is the most complete quarterback I've ever seen. Okay? And when I say most complete, look, I've seen great. Joe Montana was unbelievable. You know, watching him play. Steve Young had moments of unbelievable. There have been, Dan Marino at moments unbelievable, but all one-dimensional. Every one of them, right? Peyton Manning, one-dimensional, unbelievable. Tom Brady, one-dimensional, unbelievable.
Both guys that their IQ, their football IQ.
Right. This guy has the IQ and the athleticism to move around and get things done that you don't think he's going to get done because he doesn't look like the quarterback that runs. But yet, every now and then, he rips off the 15-yarder to pull your guts out. Every now and then, he gets away from something you don't think he should get away from, and he's falling down backwards, holding on to his dick with one hand, half on the shoulder, and throws the ball for a touchdown. The guy does things, Mike, that I've never seen anybody do. He does things in pressure situations that I've never, ever, ever seen any one of these great quarterbacks I all just mentioned, who are all great, all Hall of Famers. I've never seen any one of them do. He does things that I cannot believe he pulls off. With that being said, in order for your Eagles to win this game, a couple of things have to happen. A, it has to remain the Saquon Barkley show.
Absolutely.
He must run for $125, $150.
That was the preseason.
Has to control the line of scrimmage, keep the ball, most importantly, keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, which is what ball control will do. That's what the Giants did against the Bills back in the day when they had their running gun built, Jim Kelly and fucking Thurman Thomas, and the Giants ran out there with a backup quarterback with Hostetler and a great defense. They just played keep away. They didn't let the Bills have the ball. That's what the Eagles have to do.
Absolutely.
If Nick Sirianni gets cute and tries to do things, which I think he will, because I think he tries to be cute.
No.
If he tries to be cute and he doesn't play smart ass, too tight end, run the ball, ball control, or if Kansas City is good enough to stop the Eagles from doing it, and it's a close game, within one score in the fourth quarter, you're going to lose. If the Eagles are going to win the game, they'll be up 10 points in the fourth quarter with the ball in their hands, able to grind out first downs and keep Mahomes from getting multiple fourth quarter possessions. That's my view on the game. And I am picking this game, Kansas City 35, Eagles 32.
Another field goal heartbreak, huh?
That's because that's just how the Chiefs win. The Chiefs they haven't blown anybody out, Mike. They win all these games.
I know.
Last second score with 3 seconds left.
They're 18-0 this season within a score.
In the last 2 years. 2 years. 18-0 on every game within a score. Yes. Yeah, it's just how they operate.
They find ways to win, and I'm not taking that from them. I hate Andy Reid. It's a love-hate thing. Like, man, I just wish this would have been with us. I was upset when Andy Reid got fired. How do you fire him after everything that
and it's kind of worked out for both teams, but
it has.
I never understood the firing. I really did.
We got our first Super Bowl. He got a possible dynasty.
And he's in a dynasty, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is a dynasty.
Can you imagine if Andy Reid was your coach right now with the team you have?
Yeah, it'd be unstoppable. It would really just be unstoppable. It would.
Yeah.
3, Pete? Maybe 4?
I'll tell you this, though. I say this in honesty. This is the Super Bowl I didn't want.
Right.
It's the Super Bowl I hate. But I think it's going to be a great game. I think that
I do too. This is the big heavyweight fight.
Now, I think your team was able to duck the number 1 contender with Detroit having their defensive injuries and losing that game, right?
I think you would have took Detroit out too.
I don't think you would have because it would have been in Detroit. I don't think you would have. And again, this is assuming health because Detroit's not healthy. So Detroit in their current condition, if they had beaten the Rams, I agree you would have beaten them. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
But if Detroit didn't have the 11 guys on IR from the defense and you played them in Detroit in a championship game, I don't think you beat them. But injuries are part of football. It comes with the territory. It is what it is.
Right.
Right?
Yes,
We've seen it a
won
million times. You got to overcome your injuries. They didn't overcome their injuries.
They did.
Right? So the Eagles have been relatively lucky with health. Barkley did not get hurt. Their line has been relatively healthy. Lose a guy here, lose a guy there, but you haven't gone down 3-4 starters like some teams do.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen got banged up for a game, 2 games, but healthy enough to get back for the playoffs when you already had things kind of sewn away.
And
So
he's smooth sailing now.
right. So you've avoided the big injury that can derail your season, right?
We have
Same
all
thing
of our
with
receivers healthy. We are
right.
running
Same
at
thing with Kansas
110%.
City. Same thing with Kansas City. Kansas City's avoided the big bad injury that can completely derail their season. They're relatively healthy. So you're going to get 2 relatively healthy teams who are probably, quite honestly, the 2 best teams in the league in their each conference, the best team, right? Which should lead to a great game. And I think this game is going to be phenomenal. And I it's going to be, the Eagles are going to be up. Now it'd be 32-32. Eagles will tie the game and kick the ball back with 40 seconds left. And Mahomes is going to do Mahomes things. And that, if I'm an Eagles fan, that's the part that scares the shit out of me. I don't want him with the ball in his hand with a minute left. No.
I'm not going to say that I've already been trained for it. I did see it before. I saw Tom Brady down 8 with no timeouts and a minute left in the game. And we had to take the ball off of him. We had to take it off him. But as a fan base, everybody was sitting there going, there's too much time. If you weren't like a real football fan was going, we're fucked. We're fucked. He's going down. They're getting the 2 points. We're going to overtime, and he's going to fucking score. He's going to score, and that's going to be it. And this is typical Tom Brady shit.
Right.
But we had a big hero step up, and Brandon Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who got that strip sack. And then at the end of he still had time at the end of the game.
That game had more of a defensive tenor to it, though. And I guess we're going to find out the tone of this game early on.
It was the most points scored in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it still had some big defensive plays in it to make the scores happen. It's not like it was devoid of defense. You know,
we had a couple big hits.
Right, there were a couple big defensive plays,
and then it was Tom Brady only got sacked once.
Right, but he was pressured a lot.
Yeah, he was pressured.
He got sacked once, but he was pressured a lot that game.
Yeah, but it was that one time.
Right.
It was that one time, and I think Foles only got sacked once that game too, if at all. Doesn't matter. Point was, it was a backup quarterback, right? Hey, it's a backup quarterback. Just like he said, Nick, I don't hate you. You caught it, I didn't.
You know, I would say I'm wishing the Eagles luck, but I don't want to hear everybody's mouth in my office, so I'm not.
Oh, boy.
Right?
I think a banner is going to look good right here. We'll replace this.
I got one thing to say to you, Mike. Oh.
That's cool. You're a Braves fan, man. Awesome.
Oh,
God.
Oh, go Chiefs.
No, we suck.
Wow, really? Wow. Now, you must be talking about the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do this for you, Mike, because just to show you I love you, right? We're going to do this for you.
Play it one more time. Eagles fight. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. No.
What the fuck?
Well, Mike, either way, I think we're looking to a good game, you know, and I think that it will be a fun Super Bowl, even though, as usual, I have no rooting interest.
Who wins tonight, Peyton or Eli?
Eli, because Peyton's head will get in the way. It's too wide. Yeah. Eli will win because Peyton's head is just in the way and he can't control it on his shoulders.
I'm Peyton Manning. Oh, my head is wide left. You know, so I think Eli wins that kick thing. But I'll tell you what, it should be a good game. It's a fitting end to this season. You know, when we talk about football and I talk about the Jets for playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
No, I can't because they're never in the playoffs, so there's nothing to talk about. Before we head off, we're going to talk about the Jet head coach hiring real fast.
Okay.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Aaron Glenn. All right, so I'm going to start with I wanted an experienced coach to control the children in the room. Okay? I wanted an experienced coach who's been there before, who when he walks in the door, players look at him and say, oh, fuck, this guy's a real deal. I can't dick around now or he's going to get me out of town and I'm going to be jobless. I didn't get that. The word was that Pete Carroll didn't want to interview for the Jet job because he wanted to stay out west, which he ended up with the Raiders.
Told you.
The word was that McCarthy didn't want to take any job specifically other than Chicago, and he didn't get it, so now he sits out the year. You know, Belichick called them, and the Jets said, no, screw you. You've tortured us. We're not going to even interview you, which I still think is one of the dumbest moves in history. But they hire Aaron Glenn. Okay? Now, it's amazing. The Jets keep doing things that are insane, right? Of their last 7 head coaches, 6 have been defensive first-time head coaches. And only one worked. And it only worked temporarily, and that was Rex, right? But then I looked deeper. And I loved Aaron Glenn as a player, okay? Mm-hmm. And I actually think this is going to work, and I'm going to tell you why. Aaron Glenn not only knows the New York landscape, played here for 8 years, was drafted by the Jets, right? He played for the 1-15 train wreck of a team. Train wreck. And he saw how Bill Parcells worked him up and worked the team up into a 12-4 monster, right? He has seen the worst of the Jets. He has seen the best of the Jets. He was part of the biggest rebuild in Jets history. And he was part of the biggest rebuild in modern football history recently with the Lions, who went from the perennial worst team on the planet year after year after year after year after year after year to make them a perennial winner. So Aaron Glenn, I wouldn't be as excited if he was a coaching disciple of Bill Parcells. What I'm excited about is he's a player disciple of Bill Parcells. He told a story when he got hired about when the Jets hired Parcells, and there were rumors going around about him being traded. And he went to Parcells' office and said to him, Coach, what, what's this I'm hearing? And Parcells looked at him and said, son, you're good, but you're only my starting corner until I find someone better. And he made him better, right? And when he wanted to start coaching, he called Bill and said, I want to start coaching. And Bill said, okay, I'm going to make you a scout. And he said, no, I don't want to scout. I want to coach. And he said, no. You're going to scout because the best coaches can evaluate talent. I'm going to make you a scout first. So Aaron Glenn has come through it the right way. And I really think he has a chance here because you already saw it at the press conference. He knows how to handle the New York media. He's dealt with this shit before.
He came out firing.
He came out on fire. He said, we're the freaking Jets and we're built for this shit. Bro, I was ready to put on a helmet at 56 years old and run through a wall for myself at that point, right? So while I wasn't enamored with the type of hire it was,
okay,
now I actually like it because of who it is and how he got here. And I think that they have a chance. And I think there's a chance that Rodgers plays another year with them because Rodgers doesn't have to be the alpha in the room. He's going to let Aaron Glenn be the alpha of the room. I think Aaron Glenn understands the Jets need to run the football. He's going to build the line and want to run the football. He's going to want to play defense because he was a corner who was all about defense. He knows defense matters. So I actually have some hope, Mike. I'm not making any huge proclamations for the Jets because all they ever do is kick me in my ass and drop me on my face.
You're learning.
I'm learning.
It's taken a long time.
Long time. But I am going to say this. I think they got the right guy.
I hope for your sake that at least you get 1 or 2 good years out of them.
I don't expect miracles next year, Mike.
It's not going to. I don't think it's going to happen next year.
I would be thrilled with 8 and 9 next year. I really would.
Okay.
Right? It would be a building block the right way. If Rodgers plays and they can, because the roster still has a lot of win now pieces. They do a couple of tweaks.
A top
if they can get 10 and 7, make the playoffs, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, it depends how everybody else does, but it get you a top pick still going into that draft, and now it's a real rebuild around a coach.
You know, there was talk about if they don't take Rodgers back, what's the quarterback solution? They're picking 7. They don't have a great QB in the draft to look at, but there are 2 options currently that I think would work for the Jets if Rodgers doesn't come back. Option number 1 is the kid they drafted last year from Florida State who got hurt, who would have been a top 5 pick if he didn't get hurt, right? And he sat out the whole year because of his injury. The kid can play. Now, nobody's heard anything or seen anything because he's been on IR all year. He's been non-existent. He's not there even though he's there. That's one potential young quarterback that they might have that we don't even know we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Option number 2, and you might scoff at me for this, but he might fit what Aaron Glenn wants to do. Justin Fields. I would consider that. I'd be okay with that. And, you know, everyone forgets that before Mike Tomlin got trigger happy and pulled the trigger to put Russell Wilson in, Justin Fields was 4-2. He was not having a bad year. He was playing well. And when your line isn't great, it's not bad to have a guy that can run around.
I mean, that's obviously a solution for a short term.
Why is it short term? He's 25.
Because he's not a good quarterback.
Maybe they just haven't gotten the best out of him yet. He shows flashes still, even in Pittsburgh last year. He still shows flashes of, wow, maybe he could be really good. And
good
then he throws the
athlete.
ball into triple coverage and you say, oh, shit.
Good athlete. I don't say. I've never seen anything out of that kid where I'm like, oh my God, man, he really picked them apart. I don't say it. I don't say it.
Of course, you're an Eagles fan.
I think you should. I mean, been to a couple Super Bowls, you know. And,
now we're arrogant.
well, we're always arrogant. All right. Anyway,
cocksucker.
We're going to hope for the best for you. I think your best bet right now is to ride the Rodgers train out until he's ready to leave.
And see how this kid from Florida State is behind him. That's
see how this kid behind him is. And if you have to, draft another quarterback.
There's nothing to draft this year. They're picking 7.
Oh, yeah, I know. Doesn't mean you can't find somebody. You take a shot on somebody.
Well, even Tom Brady went in the 7th round, so you never know.
Tom Brady went right. Right.
You know,
Brock Purdy.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Though he looked a little bit irrelevant this year.
It's funny when you don't have the weapons around you.
Changes.
How good of a quarterback are you?
That's right. It changes.
How good of a quarterback are you?
That's where people don't understand the greatness of Tom Brady, is that he took so many different iterations of teams to the Super Bowl, so many different talents. Like, it's not like he had the same people around him all the time. You say, well, he's a product of that great team he's on. No, they were always changing parts, and Edelman came in after Amendola and came in after Welker and they had, for a short time, they had Randy Moss, and then Randy Moss was gone. And he did it so many times with so many different players that after a while you just had to accept that he elevated everybody's level of play.
And every one of those guys, every one of them, besides Gronk and Edelman, went to a different team and did not
failed
succeed.
Gronk went to a different team. Where'd he go?
He went with Brady.
You never got to find out.
He said it. He said, "I'll never go I'm playing with Tom Brady." Now, granted, he got drafted in the point of his career where this guy, he was the greatest quarterback to play. Like, why would you want to play with somebody else?
Right.
To prove you're the best tight end to ever play? No, I want the guy who get me the ball.
Right.
So,
or you can say, I don't want to play football and I want to go shoot somebody like Aaron Hernandez did.
Yeah, I mean, Gronk said we just traded the Lions. He said, no, you didn't. I'm retired.
I'm retiring. That's right. Boy,
And then
but I
came
gotta tell
back-
you what now. In hindsight, was Gronk that smart? I mean, the Lions were really fucking good that year.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be a part of a new thing, but
Didn't happen.
it happened. So
But that's what's going on with the Jets. We'll see what happens. They've added some of their ancillary coaching pieces, their coordinators. The jury's going to be on that until we see it. Everyone's like trying to be judgmental on it. I'm like, listen, man. Different parts sometimes work differently together with other parts. You can't really say, oh, well, this guy was great there, he's going to be great here, or that guy sucked there, he's going to suck here.
right.
You don't know. You don't know the system. You don't know. One thing I will say this about Aaron Glenn as a final point, he's not going to take anybody's shit. He's going to be everything I was hoping Robert Saleh would be. He's going to be that guy that if you look in his face and you try to do your own thing or you're jumping off sides 10 times a game, he's going to cut you. He's going to trade you. He's going to bench you. He's going to get in your face and tell you, dude, you suck right now. Fix your shit. Because that's what Bill used to do to him.
Right.
So that part I have confidence in. I want to wish the best of luck to Aaron Glenn and his new staff. Please bring me some joy. I've had nothing but pain. Let me enjoy fucking something, please. And that's where that's at. And looking forward to a good game next week, Mike.
I'm looking forward to a great game. Again, I said it the last time. I thought that was going to be the two teams of the decade, is the Chiefs and the Eagles. And it looked bleak last year, but they're proving that they're back on top.
Well, if the Eagles don't get it done and the Chiefs win and get the three-peat, become the first team ever to three-peat,
it's still a successful season.
We'll have to talk about that after the game. I guess the circumstances of how the game goes down is going to determine how you view it. And, listen, it's a tough mountain to climb for your birds, Mike. You're going against the greatest coach in your history and theirs, and you're going against currently the greatest quarterback of this generation. It's not going to be an easy hill to climb. But if one thing Saquon Barkley has proven so far, that he's been up for the task.
We got a Barkley.
You have a Barkley, they don't. But they do have a Pacheco, and he's not bad either. So let's see if you stop him, because Kansas City's been more of a run team too, and that gets overlooked, is how important Pacheco is to Kansas City's scheme of things. And they like to run and throw off the run now. They're not the old Chiefs who come out and just throw the ball all over you. Should be fun, Mike. This has been the Battle for I-95 podcast brought to you by Easy Moving and Storage. Moving's hard. Do it the easy way. Servicing Fairfield. Removal in New York. I'm Turk. For me, for Frank, for Mike. Everyone have a good weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We will see you after the big game. Or maybe before. We'll see.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Oh.